Welcome to week 14 of the Tim and Chuck Show, presented by Bat and Stevens Body Shop. I am Tim McDonough, joined by my esteemed colleague, Chuck Martinez-Brandon. Chuck, we're out here at Frickers. We got a big freaking burger. We got some barbecue chicken pizza. We got another good show.
Man, I know. It's like good football, good food. Let's get this thing on the road.
Well, we have to say a special thank you to the combined efforts of the Ayersville and Patrick Henry cheerleaders. What teamwork.
That's right. They did a great job. They coordinated. That's good stuff.
That's what cheerleaders do. Yes.
That's right.
Thank you very much. All right, Chuck. We're going to get into the talking points this week. We got Ethan getting some good video. You were there last Friday. Let's talk about the weather. Weather. I mean, you just start out talking about what happened right at the beginning, right before the game.
Yeah, you know, both teams were getting ready to walk out on the field, and both teams are standing at the gate ready to walk on, and somebody came over and said, turn around, go back. You know, the weather's too bad. We're going to have a delay. There's some lightning in the area. And then soon after that, somebody came back and said, hey, they're emptying the stands because the winds really picked up, and everybody filled into Napoleon High School in their cars and sort of tried to get out of the stands because it was really nasty there for a little while.
Yeah, and it rained a good portion of the game, if not most of it. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. It was not fit for man nor beast, as they say. but football players, they don't care. We're playing ball.
They're both. The
right.
men and beast, right? Exactly. Now, Chuck, always good to see the student section at the game. Ethan he's up there. He's getting shots,
That's
and
right.
It looks like just any ordinary student section.
Yeah.
But it really isn't, is it?
No, it's not. There's always something to go. And when you got a bunch of teenagers together, man, there's always something going on.
Oh, it's great stuff. Now, we have to give Mark props on this. We're showing this in slow motion.
Yep.
First, we have a guy on the right. Everyone in the stands is cheering except for this one guy who's on his cell phone.
Yeah, his girlfriend probably went to Holgate or something.
Okay, now we zoom into a guy at the top of the stadium. I don't know if he's nervous for the game or he's just happy to be swinging around.
We're probably doing warm-ups with everybody.
Yeah, yeah. The Cals, yes. Okay, now there's always one person, and I can attest to this being a short guy. Okay, you can see the guy waving, but you can't see the guy. He knows he's on camera, but he's, hey, look, that's my hand.
Yeah, he's like he went over his head with everybody. Did you see me? Did you see me?
and then you got another guy who sneaks in here at the end. He's got some sort of, what is it, like a paper roll or something? Hits a guy on the head and takes off.
Why not?
Always fun in the stands. Always fun in the stands. All right, Chuck. Now we want to show this highlight because it's just fun. We've got Dawson Dales for Ayersville going back to pass, trying to hit Jacob Miller. The ball goes up in the air, and there's Ethan Schlachter. Ethan on the spot, grabbing the ball out of the air for Ayersville and getting a nice game.
Yeah, just in the right place at the right time, and got some positive yardage.
Yes. Now we're going to highlight Donnie Johnson this week, Chuck. I know that you don't want to see this video.
I've seen enough Donnie. I've been waking up at night going, Donnie Johnson.
If you don't know, Chuck is the defensive coordinator for Ayersville, and obviously Donnie Johnson had some big plays in this game, Chuck, that led to scores for them, including I think all 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, and we talked about last week. Everybody talks about his speed, but you can see in some of these clips, he will lower his shoulder and run you over, and he's got good feet, and he's got just, as a running back, he's got all the skills, and it really makes him tough to stop.
And obviously, they came out of that game with a 21-19 win, and we're going to be talking about Patrick Henry.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, why don't we jump in and talk about them right now, Chuck?
Let's do it.
They're our Varsity Club Apparel Company Game of the Week. Undefeated Patrick Henry, number 3 in the state, taking on number 1 Marion Local, a team that knows a little bit about the playoffs.
Yep.
They come in at 12-1. Their only loss to Coldwater in the MAC, who is also still alive. 17-14, that was the most points they gave up all year, Chuck. This Marion Local team's won 8 state championships, 65-10 all time. They know a little bit about playoffs, don't they?
They sure do, and it's when you watch a team like Marion Local on film, they just have that extra thing about them, that thing that when you watch them play, their kids just believe. They just believe that they're that good, that we're Marion local, and we can walk out and beat you. I mean, it's weird, but when you watch them on film, you can just see there's something that sets those guys apart from just, you know, a better than average team. So,
like we said, this is a state semifinal game. It's Friday night at Lima. Let's talk about Marion local. Their quarterback is Dwayne Lugers. He's thrown for 1786 and 16 TDs. He's rushed for 21 TDs. He's obviously the focal point of that offense. But we'll talk a little bit more about some guys that also get the ball.
Yeah, you know, when you look at their offense, that quarterback, he does a great job of getting the ball downfield to his athletes in space when they do go the 4 wide sets. And then when they bring it in and they have 2 running backs and a tight end, he does a good job of handing the ball off, 2 reading it and pulling it and going. But it all starts with those guys up front. I mean, he has a lot of time. They do a great job of sealing the corner so he can get out wide. And on their quick hitting trap plays, man, those guys will lay you out.
Well, we've got Nate Moeller and Jack Holman. They've combined for 19 touchdowns on the ground. And you've got Matt Kalig and Ryan Thobe, I think is how you say it, or Tobe, 12 TDs receiving. How does Patrick Henry slow them down?
Well, I don't know if you can slow them down, to be honest with you. I mean, they've got a lot of athletes all the way across the board. I think what you can do is hope to limit their big plays. Their wide receivers do a great job if you're playing zone against them of finding that dead area, finding the open space, and the quarterback does a great job of distributing the ball to the open man and letting those guys just make plays.
Well, we just talked about Donnie Johnson, Chuck. Yeah. He comes in with 2,400 yards, 37 touchdowns. He's obviously the focal point of the Patrick Henry offense. Are they going to have to mix in the pass more this week with Mitchell Bonner to keep that Marion local defense honest, or how do you attack them?
Yeah, and I think that's what Patrick Henry's offense does well, is they pass just enough to keep you honest so that you just don't totally load the box to try to stop Donnie and slow him down. So, and he does, you know, the quarterback does a great job of, Bill Parcells always used to say, drive the bus. You know, he just runs the offense and makes the plays when he needs to make the plays and tries to get the ball downfield to keep everything stretched out.
Well, Mitchell has thrown for more than 1,400 yards and 13 TDs. J.J. Reddick is their top wideout with 456 yards and 5 TDs. That should be a very interesting matchup. We can say this about Patrick Henry. This will be the 4th time that they played a MAC team, all in the state semifinals. Unfortunately, they're 0-3 in those other 3 matchups.
Yeah,
including a 42-20 loss to Marion local in 2007.
Yeah, I mean, when you're trying to overcome the MAC schools, it's really hard because, I mean, every year in and year out, they're very good. But when you're in a small school division in Ohio, you always talk about if you want to win it all, sooner or later you got to beat a MAC school. So there's no avoiding it. Sooner or later you're going to run into one of them. You got to take them down.
Yeah, so it's going to be a great game this week, and Ethan will be there to get the highlights. So Chuck, let's move on to something we call the Rose Insurance Collision of the Week. Each and every week, Chuck, what do they say about that?
You know, every week there are collisions around the state, but here in Northwest Ohio, there's only one Rose Insurance Collision of the Week.
What do you got, Chuck?
Well, coming from our Ayersville Patrick Henry game last week, we got Donnie Johnson again running the football, but here comes my linebacker, Ayersville's Double D, Dawson Dales, fills the hole, grabs Donnie and sort of spins him down into the ground with a little bit of violence like Dawson likes to hand out.
That's why they call it a collision.
That's right.
Exactly, and that is your Rose Insurance Collision of the Week. And now it's time for the Jacobs Meets Play of the Week from that same game. We've got a 4th down play, Chuck, late in the game, inside Patrick Henry's 20. Ayersville's down 21-17. Casey Williams takes the handoff, or gets the direct snap, and gets stuffed by the Patrick Henry defense for no gain. Patrick Henry takes over, and they go on to win 21-19 after taking a safety.
Yeah, you know, they did a good job of just swarming to the football there. And so when you're swarming on defense, good things happen.
All right, Chuck, we know we're going to be back here for at least one more week, but I have to ask you before we leave, any words of wisdom?
Yeah, you know, Tim, we talked about there's 4 teams left in every division, but in the end, there can be only one.
See you next week.